Good morning and thanks so much for joining in. You're watching Ask Profit on NDTV Profit. My name is Alex Matthew and with me is Smriti Chaudhary, and we'll take you through the next half an hour or so of trade. If you've got questions for us, because this show is meant to get all of those questions answered, you can send those questions to us on any one of our social media platforms or indeed on the WhatsApp number that should be and is at the bottom of your screen.
Good morning, and on that note, I'm going to introduce the guests for today. We have Saurabh Jain, equity of SMC Global Securities, and Ayush Mehta of Nirmal Bang Securities. Thank you to both of you for joining us today. Saurabh, I'm going to come to you on this Tata Consumer. We saw the results yesterday come out. Revenue margins grew, missed street estimates, but a disappointment on the profit and the volumes front. But from a longer term perspective, do you think this is going to get better and this is just a one-off thing, or maybe because we're seeing some sort of constraint in consumption, so maybe some sort of positive that may come out in the next few quarters?
Hi, good morning. See, largely the company is into the branded segment and the premium segment, and we are seeing that in many categories, in many goods, the premium demand is on the rise. So I think it may be a one-off, and if you look at the margin profile also, they have been able to inch up their margin profile, margins also. So I feel that the company is on a strong footing in augmenting their product portfolio, branding their premium brands and all. So I think it is a story which is for the long term. I think it is a kind of a portfolio stock. One can buy this stock in a staggered manner in these dips.
All right. Next counter we're talking about is Hindustan Unilever. This is from Aslam from Bangalore. They say they have bought shares at 2,327, so slightly elevated levels from the current market price. And they wish to hold this from a longer term perspective. Saurabh, Hindustan Unilever results just around the corner. We're going to see that coming out today. But before the results, any sort of advice you would give, or you would say maybe hold on a little bit and see what the results are about?
See, if you look at the HUL, I think in the last few quarters, the stock has done nothing. And in terms of growth, the company is, putting up a meager set of, they're coming with a bigger set of numbers also. This time around, it is also expected that because they have reduced the prices of some of the products, the revenue will hardly move up, and there will be a 3-4% kind of a volume growth. And the profits will also not move up if you compare year on year. This is what the expectation is. I think the kind of valuation at which it is trading and the proportionately the growth it should see, the company is not seeing that kind of a growth. So in my sense, I think it will be a contrary call only. In my opinion, I think it is better get out of the stock and invest in sectors like banking, IT, power. I think there are more chances of making good handsome return in long-term industry.
All right. The next two counters we're talking about are BSC and CDSL. This is from Sri Kishore Sharma from Bihar. They say they bought BSC at 762 rupees and CDSL at 1,241 rupees. So I'm going to come to you on this. We've seen both of these stocks do very well in the last 1 year. Both of them have been multi-baggers. But do you see more upside from here on?
I think if you hold for long term, surely you will see more upside coming in the next 4-5 quarters. But I feel it is now a good time to take some money off the top of the table, because the valuations are also very high in terms of if you look at the BSE, it is trading at 5-15 times to book value. CDSL is also taking it a premium valuation. So I think it is good to book some kind of a profit from it.
Okay, right. We've got the next question from Hardik Bansali, and he's writing in from Chennai. He's got Tata Investment and he's holding 100 shares, which he's bought at levels of 6,750. He's wondering whether to continue holding on to this. Should he increase? This is a counter that is not very liquid in terms of volumes, but it was in the news because of this entire Tata Sons thing. Should you hold on to it? What's the strategy that you would employ?
I see. If you look at all the businesses of the Tata Group, be it automobile, be it software, be it other FMCG business, all the businesses are doing good. And it is expected that these businesses will continue to do good and the stock prices will also move up. and would see good growth. So in that sense, I think it is good to hold Tata Innovation.
It was in the news, of course, yesterday as well. Yes Bank is a counter that we're talking about next, and this is a question from a couple of individuals. We've got Ramesh from Hyderabad who's asking about this, and Utpal as well that wants to know about this. Ramesh has bought 4,300 shares at levels of 33, and so he's losing a little bit of ground. Saurabh, a lot of people have bought into this counter with the hope or the expectation, considering the shareholders, that things will turn around, that things will improve on the business side. Is that something that you expect as well, and what should the strategy be?
Actually, things are turning for the Yes Bank, but not that in fashion. I mean, if you look at the valuation now, the things are not moving in that fashion. If you look at the business growth, the NPAs are still high. They are seeing growth of approximately 7-8% in terms of business. I think they are better bets. If you look on the PSU bank side, for example, Bank of Maharashtra, there the expectation is that the growth would come at a higher pace and the profitability will also rise. The business is going good. So, in my opinion, I think it is better to shift money from the Yes Bank to the companies like Bank of Maharashtra.
All right, it's time to slip into a short break, but Saurabh and Ayush, stick with us. We'll take more questions on the other side.
So only that it can be bought.
All right. The next counter we're talking about is Infosys. This is from Vishakha, and they say they bought the shares at 1,614 rupees, slightly elevated levels from the current price. Saurabh, on Infosys, disappointing results, but would you suggest holding on to it? Now, the viewer seems to be unsure of how long they should hold on to this counter for.
See, if you look at the numbers, I think the management has guided that the discretionary spending is low, and they have given a lower, they have reduced the guidance for the 24-25. So, but if you look at the order win, they have got the large mega deals also in their kitty. So I expect that the execution will improve probably in the second half of the year, and because of the rise in the metal prices, crude prices, the inflation expectations risen in the global economy, and the expectation of rate cut by the Fed has now it is expected that it may come during the end of the 2024. If the interest rates would remain high, the spending will be lower by the BFSI companies in the US, and thus will result in the lower profitability and revenue for these companies. So these are the expectations. But in my sense, I think things will gradually improve in the second half of the year. And it is a good large cap company with good order book in the hand, and I feel that it can be you can hold it for more than one.
Let's talk about Sterling and Wilson Renewable Energy, and this is a question that has come in from Vinod from Chennai, and he's asking about this because he's bought 30 shares at a price of 570. He's asking whether to hold on to this or should he exit. He's making money here. Saurabh, on the fundamentals, what's the view here?
I think there is a good amount of the operational aspect has changed in the last few quarters, and the expectation is that the company will deliver good revenue and profitability, and that is what being reflected in the prices. So in that sense, I think the recent management commentary, the recent numbers are pointing towards that. So in my sense, I think it can be a good.
All right.
It's interesting. I'm quite curious because we're seeing chemicals doing well right now. That hasn't been the case for quite a while. Saurabh, has that moment finally come when a bottom has been found and you should consider looking at the space? I know that the question was specifically on Balaji Mines, but people have been talking about the turnaround in chemicals and waiting for that. Has that moment come?
It is difficult to take a call, but yes, people are looking towards the companies who have high capacities. I mean, they maybe when the things will turn, they would not be needing capex requirement, and they would not be parking money for their capex activity. And the utilization rates are also improving for those companies. So in that sense, I think if you look at the Balaji numbers also, in the last quarters, they have improved. We have seen improvement in terms of margins and the profitability. So yes, the valuations have now come down, and the expectations are that these companies will able to generate more profits and revenue. So in that sense, I think it can be a good call.
Okay, I'm curious whether you have coverage on Moschip Technologies. This is a company, software company that is undertaking semiconductor design and embedded services. Saurabh, do you have a view?
No.
Okay, fair point.
Okay. The next counter we're talking about is Easy Trip Planners. This one's from Dhruvaj. They've bought the shares at 45 rupees levels, so not very far away from the current price. And this is from a longer term perspective. Saurabh, is this part of your coverage?
See, for the in the travel and tourism industry, we are recommending hotels rather than the service providers like East My Trip. So we like companies like Chalet, Indian Hotel. I think it is better to park money in the hotels like Lemon Tree, Chalet, and Indian.
All right. Now, unfortunately, we're completely out of time on this edition of Ask Profit. Thank you so much, Saurabh and Ayush, for joining us today and for answering so many questions for us. And viewers, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, we were able to take your questions, but if not, we'll definitely try and take them tomorrow. But don't go anywhere. We have lots more lined up for you on NDTV Profit.